Hello everyone and welcome along to this week's new webinar. We're looking at price lists and also special prices. My name is Michael. I'm going to be your host for today. I've been called in at the last moment to cover this topic. Jackie's not feeling too good today, so I'm going to be covering it in today's session. So you may need to bear with me. It's normally the two of us that are available to deal with your questions, but just myself this afternoon with you all. So if you do submit any questions, I'll try and pick them up as we work through that. Otherwise, I'll just pick them up afterwards. We'll hang around for some questions at the end, and then any that maybe I can't answer, I will try and drop you an email either today or at some point tomorrow with an answer. So do bear with me. We will make a recording available to you afterwards as well. You will be sent a link, or you will be emailed afterwards, and that will include a number of links. One will be so that you can register for additional webinars, and the other link will be so that you can watch recordings. So watch out for that one. The recording, fingers crossed, should be available by close of play today. Right, okay. Now a little bit of housekeeping just before we get started. So we're using GoToWebinar today as our platform. And that means if you have a microphone, it's actually going to automatically be muted because we're using the webcast option. So that means you can't speak to me today. So you can't verbally ask any questions, but you will be able to type them into the questions panel. The questions panel should be in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you can't see that, just on your toolbar, click the little icon that looks like the speech bubble with containing the question mark, and that will enable you then to view the panel at the bottom, type in any comments or questions you have, click send, and they'll just appear on my screen. So I'll try and pick them up, depending how many I get, of course. There is a copy of the slides available for you to download. I know some of you have asked for those. However, they're not detailed. They are literally just copies of the slides, and that's because the detailed information is readily available via our help center. So I wouldn't want to provide you with all the information that's there, otherwise you'd be printing out reams and reams. So all the detailed information, the step-by-step guides, etc., all the background information is available online via our help center. You can access that at any time. I'll tell you a little bit about that a little bit later on as well. The handout will, if you've downloaded that, some of these slides do contain links, and obviously they will work then as well. But again, it's just going to branch you off to the information that's in the help center. There is an option to switch to full screen mode as well. So that may help when I'm sharing my screen with you today, just so you can see things a little bit clearer. Now, it is a smaller attended session today, and it's starting to become a bit of more of a niche topic, this one. So of all of the people that or all of the users that we invite along, just a small percentage will actually want to use this area of the software. So this is what we're going to be covering in the session today. So a little bit of background as to why you might use a price list or a special price. And then we're just going to work through what a price list actually is, how you go about creating one and setting one up. Also, what a special price is. And that special price means the software is really, really flexible. And this is where it can sometimes, until you've used it a little bit, it can feel possibly a little bit overwhelming. So I'll tell you a little bit about special prices, how you go about setting them up. Now you can do this on both the customer and the supplier side. So I'm just going to concentrate on customers today, but obviously the same options are available on the purchasers side. And then finally, I'll try and move on to, I'll just pick on, price list settings. Quick mention of that one, and then I will hang around for questions and try and answer any that I can. But as I say, if I get overwhelmed by the questions, I'll either pick them up separately and probably just drop you an email with an answer on or point you in the right direction. So let's start with a little bit of background as to why you might use a price list or indeed a special price. I'm just going to quickly share my screen at this point as well. So in Sage Accounts at the moment, when you set up a product or service record and you go into the record, you've got one sales price. And I'm sure, as you'll be well aware, chances are you're probably going to have other prices as well. And this is where the price list option comes in. You can set up a price list, unique prices, So, you know, if you've got a trade price or a retail price, you can set those up, and it just gives you those extra levels. Now, with special prices, you can go even further. So for each product you have, so each record that you've got set up within products and services, you can have an individual price set for actually each customer. On top of that, you've got loads of discount options available within the software as well. Now, I don't really want to touch, it might be a very light touch, if I am going to touch on it today, on the discount side of things. What we're looking at is the price list and the special price, which is all to do with how the unit price is calculated. So be aware of that one. So why might you want to use them? Well, just I suppose it's a bit of a time saver. You're not then sat there with calculators trying to work out prices that you charge each and every time. It just means you can set them in advance. So it can be a good time saver. So a little bit of background on what a price list actually is. If we just quickly pop back to the slides. So again, if you want to sell products and services to different groups of customers at a different price. So again, I'll give you an example there, retail price list and trade price list. You may have loads of others as well. Different sectors. You might have if you trade abroad, different price list then. Obviously, it does apply to suppliers side as well. But again, I just want to concentrate on customers today. So price lists, you can associate products with them. You can choose what products to include on that, what the price would be, and then you can choose which customers and suppliers that would apply to. Now, there is a range of calculation methods, which we'll have a look at in a few minutes' time, or you can simply enter a fixed price. Price lists can be accessed in a number of different areas in the software as well. So either within customers, you've got the price lists option, you've got it within suppliers, products and services, and also within the products records itself, you do have the pricing structure option, which is where you'd also go to set up your special prices. Right, okay, so that's a little bit of the background. Price lists have been around for quite some time as well in the software. I was looking earlier at some old notes I had, and customer price lists and special customer prices were first introduced in version 7. So that's many, many years ago, that one. Obviously, I was actually supporting Sage accounts at the time. Now, it is available on Sage 50 Accounts Plus, if anyone is using that level. Not many of you will be, if any, and also Sage 50 Accounts Professional. And obviously, it's had a few extra enhancements over the years as well. But generally, if you're on the professional level, you will have this option available to you. If you're not on the professional level, you never know. It might be another sort of feather in the cap for upgrading to this level of the software. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let me just make sure I've got the right screen shared. So we're going to look at actually setting up a price list at this stage, show you the actual basics. Right, let's move across to my screen. Right, we're going to start we'll just choose customers as an example. We've got the price list option at the top. So again, you need to be on the professional level of the software to be able to see this. So it tells me at the top, I'm Sage 50 Cloud Accounts Professional. And obviously my username would have to have access to this option. And there is another reason why it might not be showing if you are on professional and you think your username does have that level of access. And it could be that you've hidden the option. So if you think it's hidden, just right click any option on your toolbar at the top and it will give you a list of the options. So it might be that in the past I thought I'm never going to use that option, I'll switch it off just to declutter your toolbar at the top. There may be other options that you look at. So if you don't integrate with Go Cardless, for instance, for direct debits, you might remove some of your other options just to declutter your toolbar. But if it is just hidden, if you just right click, it'll list the options that you're entitled to access as a user and just make sure it's switched on. Now, if I pop into price lists, you see I've already got some set up at the moment. And what I'll do is I'm just going to click New, and I'll call this one Trade 3. Now, if you've got, if you're on the professional level and you've enabled Foreign Trader within your software, then you can choose what currency your price list is in as well. Now, if you're thinking, what on earth Foreign Trader? We are running a brand new webinar on that Wednesday at this time next week. So get yourself signed up. If not, you'll just find that the currency is grayed out. It'll default to your base currency. I'll just give it the same description. So we'll just call it Trade 3. And now what we need to do, we need to add our products. So we just click Add. It gives you a list of all of the products. Now you can go down and you can select the ones you're after. Now, depending on your selection style, so I'm on the Sage selection style at the moment, which is like an on-off highlight option. It means I can go down and select the ones I'm after. If you're on the Windows selection style, to select random records, you'll just have to hold down your Control key as you click. Or alternatively, if you just wanted to add everything, what we can do is do Control A. So I'll just select everything on the list. Just to keep things simple though, what I'll do is just cancel out of that a second and we'll come back in. And I'll just do actually I'll do 2 for the time being. Now for each product that you do add to your price list, you can set your pricing method. Now there are a number of pricing methods available. So you can say, right, I want to set it as a fixed price. And this is per product that you add as well. Now, if this is going to vary, then just add your products one at a time. So if I just choose widgets as an example, and then choose the pricing method. So fixed price, just in case of you typing that price in then, whatever the value the price would be. You've got the standard sales price. So obviously that's going to pull that from the customer record. Sorry, the product record, I should say. So if you update that within the product record, it'll pull it through onto this price list. You've got an option to decrease the sales price by a percentage or by a value. You might have markup percentage on cost price, markup value on cost price. It might even be that you want to increase the sales price by a certain percentage. So maybe originally all of your prices were you dealt with the trade only, and you now start dealing with the general public, and you want to mark up your prices. So you can increase the sales price by a certain percentage as well. So there's loads of options here for you. So I'm just going to set to fixed price for the time being. Now this product at the moment is showing as £10 as the standard price. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'll set that to 8. So I'll just OK that. Now if I was to add another product, obviously I can choose the pricing method for that one as well. Actually, I'll just leave it set to the 1 for the time being. We can now add our customers as well. Now we don't need to add customers at this point. We could just save it. And that would be it done. But we could also, within the customer record itself, we can go in, I'll show you that one in a moment. I'll just add the customer for the time being. Again, do it in exactly the same way. So I'm just going to choose this customer that I've set up just for the purpose of this demo. Now it tells me that it's already associated with a different price list. So just when I was having a little play around with it just before we came on air, I've obviously assigned it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate it with a new price list instead. And I'll just save it at that point. So that's it done. I can always go back into the price list at any time. I can add customers, I can remove them, add products, remove them. I can always highlight them as well and change prices. So if I want to change it to a different method, I can do that as well. You've got all your calculations along the bottom as well. Now, some of them obviously can get quite complex, those pricing methods. So, I could, you could have it calculate to a certain percentage and then base it on rounding and say, right, I want to round up to the nearest pound and then deduct a penny, and you can do all of that type of thing so that your base price is like $6.99 or $5.99 if you're going down that route. Anyway, let's just close out of that. So that's the basics of setting one up. Now you can have as many products on here as you want. You can have as many customers on here as you want. Each customer can only be assigned to one price list. Now that price list, if we go back to the customers list, click into the record, you'll find it on the defaults. You'll find the price list is here. So if you did need to change, you can always come in and switch it to a different price list. If you want to switch to the price list, just click the little smart link, and that will take you directly across to it. Any questions so far? So easy enough to set up. Now what that will mean is, I'll just quickly show you an example of this as well. So what it will mean is when I go into invoices and credits, we go to enter a new invoice and we choose the customer. If I was to choose that product and drill down on it, in fact, you can see the price already, it's brought it through. But if I drill down on it, obviously the standard price, the standard unit price was £10. We've amended that one. And we can access price lists so we can see where that price has actually come from. So it's in this case, it's coming from trade 3. Right, let's quickly pop back to the slides. So just to quickly pick up on what we've just done there, we've looked at adding or setting up a basic price list. You can add as many or set up as many price lists as you want. Easy enough to add your products. Obviously, as you add them, if you add them individually, you can set a calculation method which is unique to that item on the price list. If you add them in as a batch, they will all use the same pricing method set at the bottom as to whatever you set as you add those ones. And obviously, if you need them to be different, then you need to add them individually. So a range of, obviously, with those pricing methods that are available as well. If you need more information on the pricing methods in exactly how they do calculate, then there was a great article within our help center. It's worth mentioning as well that price lists can be imported. So if you've ever used data import before, you'll know that it can be a big time saver, data import. One thing to be aware of is that if you import a price list, everything will default to the fixed price method. So you can then go in and override the prices, change the methods, etc., but that would need to be done on an individual product basis. So be aware of that one. If you are importing, whatever you import the price as, that's what it will be set to. It won't use, you can't specify a method during the import process. So please bear that one in mind. Right, okay. Still no questions. So what we'll do is we'll move on in that case. And next we're going to look at special customer prices. Now a special price enables you to specify the price of a product for a specific customer. Now that means every product you have in Sage can have a different price for each individual customer. Again, we're just looking at it from the customer perspective today. So you've got the same options on the supplier side as well. Now this option, you will need to go into the product record to access the pricing structure. And that's where you'll find the special prices option. Again, you will have the same options available, the same pricing methods. So again, you've got that that added flexibility as well. And this is in the hierarchy, this is the top level. So when you get through to invoicing, it's going to look like, is there a special price? If there is, we'll use that price. If there isn't, is the customer connected to a price list, and is there a price for that product on it for that customer? If not, it will then default to the standard sales price within the record. And obviously you've got discount options that you could potentially apply on top of that as well. So special customer prices means that, well, it's vast what you can then do with that. So every product potentially having a different price for every single customer. And it can obviously use a range of calculation methods as well. Now let's just quickly set one of these up. I think I've got a slide for that. I will come back to the slides in a moment. Switch back to my screen. And what we'll do, we'll just cancel out of that invoice that we just entered. We'll pop into products and services. Choose the product that I set up earlier. So there's widgets. And then in the sales price area, we've got the pricing structure option. So in here, we can see that in addition to the standard sales price and the cost price at the top, you can see that this product is assigned to, in this case, this one price list. But let's say I wanted to add a special price. So that customer that we looked at, they might be assigned to this price list, but maybe they buy a lot of a certain item. So we think, right, for that item, we're going to give them a special price. Maybe we want to incentivize them a little bit if it's a new sort of product area that we want to offer to them. So we can set a special price which will override their price from the price list. Kia, you mentioned there, is there a report that shows all prices all prices issued, I should say, to a customer? Yes, there are reports available for price lists and special prices. I'll try and come on to that a little bit later. Anyway, to add a special price, all we do is we click add, choose what it is we want to do. So we want to add a special customer price. So we'll choose the customer. I thought that was grayed out for a second. It would just be the color scheme I've got set. So it's a special customer price. I choose the customer that I want to set that special price up for. We'll see my currency, the description, or the customer name, I should say, is there, the product code and its description. And then again, I come down to this line or list price calculation option. So again, what I'll do is I'll just say I want to set that as a fixed price, and I will do it as, let's say, £7.50. So that's the price I want to give. Again, you've got pricing calculations along the bottom. I'll just save it. And again, that's it done. So still within the product record, this one widgets that I've got set up, I've now got essentially two prices set up. I've got it attached to a price list, but I've also got a special customer price set up as well. Just that one. So if we just OK that, save the record, and again go back to invoices and credits, do a new invoice, choose the customer, and also choose the product. And this time, again, you'll see that the price that's pulled through, going off that hierarchy that we mentioned, it's going to go off the special customer price first of all. Now, that does not mean it will default to the lowest price. You might have done for this price, you might have said, I want it to be higher than what the price list price is. So again, you've got that full range of options. And again, if I want to see where that's coming from, just drill down. And again, you've got the price list options. It'll give you the various options in there. Just save that one. So quite a bit to think about, and obviously sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming. It depends how many different levels you have on a price list. If you've got loads of special prices in there, it is very, very flexible in that respect. Right, now on top of that, and this links in nicely with Haley's question. Haley's question is just, Haley's just asking, if there is a special price, is there a way of shutting off the discount so additional discount is not taken off the customer's special price? So just gonna quickly pick up on that one. Right, so price list settings. If we go to settings and invoice and order defaults, there is a discounts tab. On the discounts tab, there is an option. So there's an option that says, so in the apply quantity and value discounts, so you've got some additional options. So you can say, right, I don't want to apply them on top of the price list or the special price. So you can certainly disable those options, but it wouldn't then prevent you from adding in manually some additional discount if you needed to. Now, obviously it can seem quite complex by the time you look at all of these options. I think it's probably worth us doing maybe a webinar on discounts as well, just to run you through the various discount options that you've got available. But you can certainly avoid or set it so it doesn't automatically apply the quantity and value discounts on top of those prices. Let's just have a quick look at those. And the tip there on the slide is that I would encourage you to have a go. Certainly for, I think, price lists and special prices, it's something I would encourage you to have a go of. So there's the demo data and the practice data that you can have, means that you can get into them and have a play around. Demo data, which is what I'm using today, there's loads of preset records for you. Practice data allows you to start from scratch. I think sometimes the demo data, can sometimes get in the way of your thinking, I think. So it's sometimes easier just to almost like start from scratch and set one customer up, one product, and then start from scratch so you can follow it through and see the impact it has. If you've not used those two options before, just quickly share my screen and just point you in the right direction. So into file, open, and you've got the option open demo data, open practice data. So demo data, loads of preset records, transactions, etc. Practice data, when you go into that one, it's going to prompt you to start from scratch and reset what you've entered so far in that dummy company. So it just depends which one you want. Log on would be manager, leave the password blank, and it means that you can almost like try it before you apply it to your live data. It's a fab resource, that one. It's really good for training purposes as well. If you want people to, just have a go of things and just see how it works. If you change settings or anything like that, or maybe you're trying to learn new areas of the software, such as price lists and special prices, then do check that out. The option we're talking about, though, you'll find it within settings and then invoice and order defaults. And it's on the discounts tab, and it's these two here. Special prices and price list prices. So essentially that's the only option you got there, Haley, to disable those options, the quantity and the value discounts. There's a couple of options on here as well. So again, play around with them. There's more information available within our help center should you need them. Right, now I do have a little bit of a flow chart as well, so hopefully this will put it in simple terms. So, price lists and special prices. So first of all, and I mentioned this in the hierarchy, when you come to invoicing, is there a special price? If there is, it will apply that special price and it will use that above and beyond any other price. It will then, if applicable, apply any discount to that special price. If there isn't a special price, it will go down the hierarchy And I always think this flow chart, it would make more sense if we switch the price list and standard price options on it, because it's then more of a hierarchy then. But is there a price list? If there is, it will use that price, and then potentially it could apply discounts on top. If there isn't a price list in operation, then it will use the standard sales price and then apply any discount on top. So that's the hierarchy: special price, price list, standard price. If you've downloaded the handout, obviously it will include this information. So just quickly in summary, I'll try and pick up some of the other questions I've got in just a moment as well. So just in summary, obviously price lists are used to apply different price to a particular group of customers across a range of products. Special customer prices might just be a one-off single item, although you can apply obviously those special prices to each individual product for each individual customer. A bit of a typo on the next one. Once set up, these are automatically applied to invoices and orders when the customer, supplier, and product are selected. And again, just as a reminder, price lists can be imported, which can be a big time saver, but the pricing method will default to that fixed pricing method. There's a couple of few useful links on the right as well. Again, these will just branch you off to our Help Center articles. They're easy enough to find. Just pop into the Help Center and search for price lists or special prices, and you'll easily find the latest information that's available. Little plug for some of the upcoming webinars we've got. So if you haven't yet attended one of them, please get yourself signed up for a What's New in version 28.1. Some fab features going into that one. Just about something for everyone this time round. It's been a while, I think, since there's been lots of new enhancements put in. So enhancements to the dashboards, what else? The ability to have multiple companies open at the same time. You've got options to remember your login details. Loads of options that customers have been asking for. So I think there's over 22 customer suggestions that have been added this time round, as well as the usual round of enhancements to the software. If you want to see that one in action and see some of the new features, then please get yourself signed up for one of those. The link to sign up is included in your follow-up email, which you will receive in round about an hour's time. Loads of other sessions as well. Next Wednesday, our new topic is the foreign trader option. Again, it's an option that's available within the professional level. That's all included as part of your software. Any other level, it is an extra subscription. But if you are dealing in foreign currencies, so buying and selling abroad, being invoiced in euros or US dollars, I couldn't think of any other currencies in the world for a moment there. So any currencies that you need to deal with, you can get them set up, set exchange rates, etc. That means that you can start entering transactions and also set up bank accounts in the foreign currencies as well. So if you want to see more about that one, learn how to enter your foreign currency transactions, pay them off, how the software deals with exchange rates and exchange rate differences, then please get yourself signed up for one of those as well. All free to attend the sessions. Now that brings me to the end of the session. I've got one question I'm going to pick up in a moment. If you've got any questions, we should have about 5 minutes or so just to pick up any questions that I may not have been able to pick up so far. If you think of any questions after you have left, do try the demo data or the practice data. It's a great resource, that one. It'll help you to really get to grips with it, or download the help articles and try and work through them using that demo and practice companies. Now, as you leave today, there will be a little survey pop up. If you can take a minute to complete that short survey. I think there's 6 questions on there. Most of them are just rating on a scale, but there is an opportunity to pop some comments in as well. If you've got any thoughts that you'd like to share with us, please take a minute to do that. Your follow-up email, around about an hour's time, you'll get that. It will include links to register for other webinars and also to watch recordings as well. So you get that around about an hour's time. If you've got any questions, or if anyone wants to hang around for questions, please start popping them in there. Rather than just type answers, I'll just read them out. I'm not very quick at typing, so probably a little bit easier for me just to read them out and then start demoing them. So, Igo, it's your question. How can you enter the prices if you have prices depending on the amount your customers buy? So discounts by value, discounts by quantity. So discounts is something that I didn't really want to touch on too in depth today. However, let me point you sort of in the right direction for those ones. Let me just share my screen very quickly. So the first one, if we go into settings and then customer defaults, and you have an option of discount. So what we can do here is we can specify the invoice value. So this is one of the many discount options that you do have available. Now you can't set this by customer type. It is basically it's a setting that's applied across the board. So we can specify invoice value, and obviously when the invoice hits that value, it will then start applying specific percentages. So that's invoice value discount. Quantity discount, if we go into products and services, you will have a discount tab within the individual product record. So within here, you've got five discount tables. Now these are based on quantity discounts, and what you can do within a customer record is say, right, this customer is going to be attached to discount table A, and it would use all of the discount table A's for each of the products as you add them into an invoice. So again, it's all based around quantity. So you would say, right, well, if they buy, let's say if they buy 5 of these, I'm going to give them, let's say, a 10% discount. Now remember, this item was £10 by default, so obviously it's calculating. Just going to show you what the discounted value is. Now for a customer to use that one, so I'll just quickly save that. If I went into this one, not that one, let's try again. We'll go into the customer this time, into the customer record, in defaults, and we can do the additional discount option. So in addition to the price list, the special prices, the discount percentage, we can do no additional discount. We can set them to the invoice value table or one of the quantity tables. So again, this is where it can get quite complex, and why I would encourage you to maybe have a go of it and try to learn more about it within the demo and the practice companies. Cindy, you mentioned there, well, two questions. One is, can you copy your live company into the demo or the practice? No is the answer to that one. It is there for practice purposes only. I think what we would have found in the past is that some people used to they would have a multi-company license. And what they would do is they would essentially restore a backup of their live data into a second company. And you'd often find that people would contact us and say, right, I've been entering transactions and I've keyed them into the wrong one, which is why we tried to avoid that scenario. So you can't, there's not an option to restore or copy that data across to either the demo or the practice. Other question is, can you import a product price list? The answer to that one is yes. So let me just double check. And it was when you go into price lists, if I just choose that one that we looked at earlier, we edit it, there is the option to import. give it a click, and then it would just be a case of browsing to the relevant file. From memory, and it's a long time since I've looked at this one, from memory, your import file would have the product code along with the associated price. Bear in mind, it would be the net price that you're importing. Product list as well, if you're importing products, yes, you can do that one. To import products into your software, just file, import. And it's just a case of working through the import wizards. But if I click next, one of the options is, where is it? Product records. Again, you'll find more information about importing. You'll find all of that in the Help Center, should you need it. Let's just see if this one brings it up. It might do. Loads of information in there, yeah. So check that out. So that was just file, import. File, import, yep. And then you can download the import templates if you want to go down that route. If it's your own file that you want to import, that's fine as well. There'll be, there is a recorded demo available on importing as well. It looks at importing transactions, but the same principles are available. So they would apply to importing records as well. Right, okay, so questions drying up. We'll just quickly pop back to that final slide. So just want to quickly thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming along. Hope you have found it useful. If you can take a minute to provide a little bit of feedback, just see if we're hitting the mark, then please, if you can take a minute to do that, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you've got any suggestions for topics you'd like to see covered going forward as well, I appreciate this one's a bit of a whirlwind and there's quite a bit to take in as well. So there are some courses available for this area, I believe, within Sage University. So do check that out as well. Links included on your follow-up email. So I think we've picked up on all the questions. Oh, sorry, Kate, I missed your question. Apologies. I thought that didn't sound right. So let me quickly go back to my screen. And what we'd need to do is just go into products and services, into reports, and you've got your price list options. So various reports there, have a good look through them, but that's where you'd find them. Obviously beyond that as well, potentially you could modify the reports, and you've got options to send your things like your price list across to Excel if you want to manipulate it any further. So quite a few options in there for you, but that's where you'll find them. So just to confirm, it was products and services, into reports, and then it was price lists. Just depends what information you want. So again, if you want to play around with that, get into practice or the demo data. Right, on that note, we'll end the webinar. So once again, many thanks, take care, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you on some future webinars. Many thanks.